Okay, I know. I'm just gonna get this out of the way before I get bombarded with comments. I'm wearing contacts. I've been trying out contacts for like the past month or so, so that's why I'm not wearing glasses here. And plus, I saw this movie in 3D, so I felt wearing contacts with 3D glasses would be better than just overlaying them. So, if if you're confused why I don't have glasses in this video, that's why. So anyway, on to the video. Yeah, today I'm gonna review a better kids movie than the last one that I reviewed, Despicable Me 4. So the plot of this movie is there's this villain named Maxime Demal, played by Will Ferrell, who wants to get revenge on Gru for embarrassing him in the past and overtaking his glory, and he threatens to find his location and terrorize his family. So Gru and the whole family move out in the way and find a new home and even adopt new identities by changing their names, and they try to live a normal life before Maxime finds them all, and hopefully Gru and the gang all try and stop him if he ever overcomes them. And also the minion some of the minions are become the test subject of this experiment, which turns them into the Mega Minions, which gives them a bunch of superpowers. Like one of them, stretchy, like Mr. Fantastic. Well, he kind of has a costume plastered on though. One of them kind of looks like a chewed up jawbreaker who can just eat anything. One of them has a laser eye. One of them's a rocket. Like they all become weird superheroes. And there's also a subplot where this girl named Poppy, played by Joey King, who wants to blackmail Gru for his real life identity as a supervillain. Okay, I know I'm really over explaining it, but this movie actually has way too many plots. So I'm just okay. Gru and the family move, stuff happens, Will Ferrell villain tries to terrorize Gru. That's the plot. Yeah, this was a good film, although I guess I should get that out of the way. Like I said, yeah, the main problem with this movie, it has way too many subplots. Like, I do like how, compared to the other Despicable Me movies, it's kind of like the Minions movie where it actually does focus on the supervillain spy stuff. But the thing is, it balances it out too good with the other stuff. Because while I do like the other Despicable Me movies, I will admit lots of the time they focus less on the supervillain stuff and more about family. Like, I get the first movie. Like, the first movie was a redemption arc for Gru. Like, it was where he's like a bitter, mean supervillain who's really bad at being a supervillain, and he adopts these girls who he doesn't care for, and then he learns to become a loving dad. And like I get that, but then like the other movies, like the second one was Gru falling in love, and the third one, like, was the villain in the third movie even in it that much? I mean, I found the villain on the third movie annoying, but think about it, he probably only had like 7 minutes of screen time in total. Like most of it was just about him and his brother. Like, but this movie, it still has the supervillain stuff. I think the villain played by Will Ferrell, I liked him. I thought he was pretty funny. He does have he has a really over the top French accent, and like it's Will Ferrell being goofy, but it's done in a way where like it can entertain you. Like it's Will Ferrell. He's gonna play an over the top funny villain. So it makes sense. Kind of like Megamind, how he had like a weird way of talking and how he's kind of a goofball. And that's kind of the same thing here. And his story was kind of interesting about how he's a giant roach man and he controls roaches. He's kind of like Ratcatcher, how he controlled rats in the comics, or even in the Suicide Squad, how Ratcatcher always controlled rats. Like he could just swarm an army of roaches, and like it was neat. And there's also I forgot to mention, they also have a baby. Gee, okay, yeah, this movie's really unfocused. Like there's a baby called Gru Jr., who's their first biological kid, and like he's just there just to make the middle-aged moms in the audience go "aww" and just get some cute laughs. And like I get it, but yeah, this movie did feel unfocused. Like it's fun, like there's a lot of really good gags, and lots of the lots of the writing is actually pretty okay, and that a lot of that comes with the voice performances, because the voice acting in like all these movies is great. so they got that going for it. So yeah, it's a pretty unfocused movie. Like I feel it's kind of like the second Alvin and the Chipmunks, where it had like 50 plots rolled. I mean, this is a better movie, but like this movie kind of felt a bit unfocused. I mean, there's a lot of amusing gags and lots of funny dialogue, and like even the characters are at least interesting. The problem is it just kind of goes back and forth between what it wants to be. I mean, as I said, I know the other three Despicable Me movies, they do focus a bit too much on family rather than the action spy stuff, but at least they're more focused, and they just had like two subplots. They didn't have like 50. So yeah, I'd say maybe this is the weakest Despicable Me movie, although I definitely don't think it's bad. Like, I do think it's fun, and it's funny. Like, the voice acting is still great, and the characters are still likable enough, and it brings a lot of, fun animated action, and there's some really good ideas in there. The problem is that a lot of them aren't explored enough. Like, like that one character, Poppy. Like, I liked the idea of her about a kid who wants to become a supervillain. Like, heck, I think the movie could have just been about her. In fact, the whole thing of a fourth Despicable Me movie about Drew actually mentoring someone how to be a supervillain, I think that could have been a good movie. And then have her face off against an actual supervillain. Like, that could have been a good fourth movie. That could have worked, but now they focus really too much on way too many things, and it's not a bad movie. It's just kind of clumsy at times. Like, it's good. I think it's still fun, and kids will get a kick out of it, and adults will say, you know what, it was fun with some over the top animated antics, even if the story's a bit messy and sometimes it kind of tries too hard to be a bit wacky. The 3D was really good though. As I said, I saw this in 3D, and you know how I said in my review of Avatar: The Way of Water that had the best 3D I've seen in a long time. This wasn't as good, but this is one of the few 3D movies I've seen in the past probably 10 years where the 3D was actually like stuff was actually coming out of the screen, and it looked actually genuinely good. So, yeah, the 3D was really effective, and that made a lot of the visual gags a lot funnier and lots of the animated action. It looked quite good. So, yeah, despite it being a bit unfocused, Despicable Me 4, it's good for what it is. It does have some interesting concepts, and a lot of them do pay off with some pretty funny characters, and it's entertaining. Like, this is no Inside Out 2, I can definitely say that. But as kids' films go, you could do far, far worse. I think it's a good enough movie. I think kids would definitely enjoy it, and adults, yeah, they probably might find it a bit unfocused, and it feels more like you gave a kid 10 pounds of sugar and they started going all over the place with a bunch of energy without any real focus. Sometimes this movie feels like that, but I guess you could say like Candy, it's fun enough even if some of the antics you get sick of, but it's a fun enough film for what it is. Like, you could definitely do worse. I don't think it's a bad film, but it's good even though it has its issues. But overall, I had a fun time with Despicable Me 4. I think you know what, for a theatrical experience, I could have done way way worse. So it was good to see a new film nowadays that wasn't a blockbuster. So I overall liked it. There wasn't really that many trailers before the movie, to be honest. There was, let me check. Um, there was only three. That's weird. Like, yeah, there was only three. I mean, when I saw Marcel the Shell with Shoes on, I only got two, but that's not okay. So the trailers I got were Moana 2. I'm curious. It was of course the teaser. I don't know if they have another trailer, but I wonder what they'll do with a Moana sequel. I mean, it could have potential with all the adventures they could explore across the ocean. So I'm down for it. It probably might be good. Wicked again. Yeah, I'm still not totally sure about this. Like, maybe it might be okay. I'm not familiar with the musical. I don't know if this will be good, but I don't know. Maybe it's harmless enough. At least it's not like Cats where it's a CGI nightmare. It looks fine enough, but I don't know, maybe when it's near Oscar season, I might check it out. Like when it's like during its last run, because I still don't know how to totally feel about it, but I guess we'll see. And there's a different trailer this time for The Wild Robot. I genuinely can't wait for this movie. I haven't been this excited for a DreamWorks movie in a long time. Whoa, maybe not long time. I think I was pretty hyped for Captain Underpants, but okay, I wouldn't say I'm hyped for this movie, but I think it has potential to be really, really good. So, and the animation, yeah, it's doing that same thing like the bad guys in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, where it's trying to copy the choppy 2D Spider Verse style. Which why is every animated movie nowadays trying to look like Spider Verse? Spider Verse was supposed to be special. Why is every animated movie trying to be like it? But that aside, I like the idea of a high tech robot being lost in a underdeveloped forest. Like it's a weird blend, and it looks like it could have some good drama. This looks more serious for a DreamWorks movie. Like this looks kind of something more like How to Train Your Dragon. I mean, not that How to Train Your Dragon didn't have its jokes, but let's be honest, the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy was more serious compared to other DreamWorks movies. So this one kind of feels like it's following that same route, and I think it looks like it'll really have some heart to it by telling the story about this lost robot and some people trying to hunt it, and it could be really good. Hopefully it's not a case where the trailer makes it look so good, but the actual movie's underwhelming. But I think it will have potential to be good. I'm really hoping it'll it'll be good. I think it's out in a month though, isn't it? Geez, time flies. But yeah, Wild Robot, I definitely want to see this. I think it'll have potential. I mean, I don't know. With how good Inside Out 2 is, I don't know if it could be the best animated movie this year, but hey, I've been proven wrong before. This could be the best animated movie of the year, or who knows, maybe it'll disappoint, like I said, but you never know. But yeah, Despicable Me 4, it's nothing special, and it's a bit messy at times, but it's still overall a fun film, and it's charming enough what you want a Despicable Me movie to be. So it's good enough for kids, and it's a pleasure for adults. So while there's better kids films, I think this like Inside Out 2, like I mean, I guess if you've already seen Inside Out 2 and want to see something new, this is good for something different. So yeah, so finally get to review another summer film. So hopefully I get to put out more videos soon. So take care, everybody.